It's invigorating starting a new day with a fantastic sunrise like this. Welcome to Kunyuma, everyone. To all you viewers out there, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to WildEarth and our morning safari. Today the sun rises at 6 o'clock in the morning. My name is Mark. I have Alex on camera with me this morning, and Andrew is back in final control. We'll be joined by Brent and Bryan a little bit later. We're just going to say hello and see what we can find for you in the meantime. I want to head down towards Gowrie Dam. Obviously we want to see where little quarantine male went to. We want to try and head to the southeastern part of the world and see what happened to some of the other leopards that were found yesterday. Hard to tear myself away from this beautiful sunrise though. So glad we got all of you helping us start our day. Let's make it a good one. How can it not be out here in the middle of Africa? Or not so middle. Yeah, it's like a painting. You couldn't paint that. If it's your birthday today, that's your birthday sunrise. See, it just gets better and better. Just a big balloon. Let's see, let's try and find some backdrops. Try and find some different views as we head down towards Gowrie Dam. Try and get the sunrise all over again. Multiple sunrise. See if we change our angle and we get a little bit lower down, then we get it rising over the ridge again. Lots of zebra tracks up here on the open area quarantine. There were some nyala that have just left the open area and gone into some thick bush as we left camp. Other than that, also a few hyena tracks. I suppose everybody's already left the open area and gone off to do their grazing and browsing. Hyena tracks, guinea fowl tracks. another quick view there. It's going to be very bright, but that should give you sun just under that arm of that dead tree. Oh, now I can't see anything because I looked at it. Morning, Donna. Is that South Carolina? If we're still counting cat sighting days, we are, Donna. I think we're up to 16 now, if I'm not mistaken, from yesterday. Yeah, the lovely liquid call of the oriole. I'm going to let my eyes adjust. I made the mistake of looking at the sunset with my eyes just directly. So I've got big spots, big orange spots. Sure. Becky, using no techniques, we're just zooming in. And of course, changing the aperture makes a little bit of a difference. But no special camera techniques. That is what our sunset, or rather sunrise, looks like at the moment. Exactly as you see it. Of course, we're zooming in on it, makes it even better. Copy, thanks. My vision should be restored soon. Let me know if I drive into any holes or trees or anything. Stop when you hear the bumpers. As they say. Caroline or Carolyn riding in from Chicago, asking if we have any boas or pythons out here. We do. Carolyn, we do. We have the African rock python, if we're lucky enough to see it. We're looking for that noise. No boas though. Although they're the same family, the boas and the pythons, all constrictors. And only the one species of python we get here in South Africa. There are a couple of others in other parts of Africa, but only the one type of python, the African rock python, here in South Africa. Oh, okay, there's a lion track here, but I don't think that was very fresh. That was the other day. Brent said he followed those tracks 2 nights ago, I think. They went up Voodoo Road. Not seeing as many pythons as we used to 20 odd years ago. I don't know whether their population is dipping or they're just very sensitive and we just don't get to see them. Also the bush here is pretty thick. The only time we really get to see snakes is if they're on the road. Sometimes, very very seldom, we might be lucky enough to find a snake in a tree, and usually it's because birds or something's shouting at it. Usually birds. Mobbing or shouting at a snake. Now the python, the African rock python, grows up to about just under 20 feet, I think is pretty big. And 20-foot python is able to, even a 15-foot, big pythons are able to kill impala, swallow impala whole. Temperature's dropping and no sign of a cat. Only hyena. I think we should be in getting close to new moon now. actually, come to think of it. And I think we're about to experience in some parts of the world, I think way up north towards the Arctic Circle, I think there's going to be a full lunar eclipse. Solar, is it solar? No, it won't be lunar. Solar. It can only be solar if it's new moon. A lunar eclipse can only happen on a full moon. And that is going to play havoc with tides over the next few days. So it's the 20th. So 20th is new moon. When is the 20th? Tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So we're going into new moon, which means that the moon is there where the sun is. Just in fact, it will be, if we could see it, just above the sun. Tomorrow it will be where the sun is. See, the moon's a little bit later every day. And so tomorrow, up there in that part of the world, from that angle, it'll be interesting to see. Of course we won't, we'll just get to see photographs and things. Virginia, asking if I ever make speaking appearances. I don't, Virginia. Virginia's in Kentucky. I haven't been to a city for a long, long time. I haven't been much further than Hoedspruit for quite some time. Trying to think when the last time was that I was even in the city. It would have been when I was going through the city to somewhere else. The biggest town I see is a little town called Hoedspruit, which is our local town. A big farming and wildlife community in Hoedspruit. Then there's a big town, a mining town up north where they're mining magnetite at the moment. There's also a lot of mica that is mined in the area. A town called Palabora. And if you do a Google Earth search of Palabora, you'll see there's one of the biggest open pit mines. That's, I guess, a little bit bigger than Hoedspruit, but at least a year since I was in Palabora. I'm trying to think further from that. The last time I would have been in a city would have been I guess a brief visit just after the Thornybush drive. I was in Johannesburg for 2 days. Other than that, it has been about 18 years since I left South Africa to go anywhere. Visited a bit of Europe and the US. And I don't know, maybe one day. I'm kind of scared of the cities. Not scared, I'm a fish out of water in the city. And I could probably find my way around. I think I'd probably be quite nervous driving again. I haven't driven in the city for a long time, and well, the traffic load seems to be a lot more than it ever was in the past. And I guess being out of it, one forgets about the madness of other road users. How does one even go about it? I don't know. I mean, talking, being a speaker. I don't know what I would say. I can talk here because I can show you things, and I can talk about things because I'm in my environment. I don't know. Maybe one day when I grow up. One day when I become an old man. When I grow up and become an old man. Sol, how are you doing this morning? Your evening, Sol. I think, didn't you say you had Sol was at the dentist. How are you doing? Hope things are feeling better there. Sol wants me to explain why drought is so bad for predators. I don't think it's bad for predators, Sol. I think a drought is predator heaven. Especially scavenging predators. Predators that are not too particular about their food and where it comes from. Predators who happily kill their own food, but if there's a dead animal, they'll take advantage of the opportunity and feed on it. And when we do have a drought, and a drought does hit, weaker animals tend to die off, older animals tend to die off, and subsequently there are a lot of carcasses lying around. Not a lot. It obviously depends on the severity of the drought and the condition of the animals, but one is likely to find that animals have a hard time and their condition drops. They are easier to catch. Buffalo tracks, hyena tracks. No sign of a pussycat. Day like today, with the last few days we've woken up, we've had cloud in the sky. This morning waking up it was a blue sky. There are clouds starting to form. I think a day like today, when it starts off blue, is the kind of day that you're likely to have a little bit of build-up. And what I'm not like to do, which I am doing while we're driving around, I'm looking for little signs that tell me that maybe there's some weather changes on the way. And some of the things that I'm looking for are, hopefully I can show you. There's certain species of termites that start building tunnels above the ground. There are types of termites that harvest dead grasses. They're the only species of termite that come above ground that have somewhat of a pigment, and they're able to handle sunlight for a short time, and they come up above ground and harvest grasses in huge numbers. There are ants that build little mounds of sand. There are weather changes on the way. Yes, starling shark coming. I'm guessing that our friend young quarantine male might still be in the drainage line in the Mulwati River. Oh, sorry little one. Some young red-billed hornbills. Get closer to this one. What is back to us? It's a little bit fluffy around the head, and you can see that bill, the beak, or the bill, still very, very small. And it had a sibling that flew just off to the right. So they're quite independent now. And for the first couple of weeks after they come out of the nest, they spend a lot of time with the parents, learning from the parents about feeding, how to feed, what to feed on. Let's go up a little further. There's some birds or starlings at Tambuti that are shouting at something. Some elephant tracks. Where did they go? Elephant went that way, but it's not very fresh. What are you shouting at, starling? Off we go. See anything, but that's the kind of thing that happens when there is a snake about. You hear birds alarming. Alarm calls of all the birds are very, very harsh noises. They're not very pleasant sounds. So you know when a bird is shouting at something. A lot of elephants. We missed elephant here yesterday. I suppose we were with leopard. There's a whole family of elephant that came past. You see tiny little elephant droppings from a baby in the road. Cynthia, morning, Cindy. Ohio. What did the termites do with the grasses? Well, those particular termites, which are called harvester termites, feed on dry grasses as opposed to other termites, which many other species which feed on dead wood. All plant matter, no matter what type of plant it is, has to be broken down and returned to the soil as trace elements to feed the new plants that are coming up. Sorry, I just need to look at something. Now, the very thing that gives plants rigidity, the very thing that makes wood as hard as it is, that's just a piece of wood that I was seeing. That the very thing that makes trees so rigid is the cell wall, the structure of the cell wall of a plant cell, and as minute as it is, the combination of all of that gives structure, and it's composed of cellulose. And cellulose cannot be digested by pretty much every animal that eats plants, and there are only a couple of things that can actually break down cellulose to get to the nutrients within the cell wall of the plant, and that's within the cell, and that's bacteria and fungi. And termites are this type of creature that, with the bacteria that they have living in their gut. Okay, well, let's see what I'm looking for some tracks and things. Wait 3 minutes. Okay, we're going to go over to Brent shortly, not right now though. I like just doing a loop on Tagari Main. It is quite a busy junction, this, normally. Animals crossing over, animals using the roads as their pathways. I suppose they are their pathways, but we use them and make them bigger with two tire tracks, two tracks. But this morning not much coming over other than hyena coming over from Little Gowrie to the south of us. Yep, cloud build up already. Build up, and then maybe lunchtime it'll burn away. And maybe some interesting weather later tomorrow. Time to say good morning to Brent and Bryan, and I'll see you shortly. Well, I'll see you when I find something. For the time being, let's see what's happening on the eastern side.
Morning everyone, Brent here and Brian's on camera with me today. What we've done is we've headed right down to our eastern boundary, to where all that leopard action was yesterday, and we've been following the tracks of Mvula for about 20 minutes now. We lost his tracks on Leadwood Road. We can't find them crossing our southern boundary, so we're hoping he's come down into the drainage line. So we're gonna keep on keeping on and see if we can find any fresh tracks. If we don't find any nice fresh tracks of Mvula, we'll go back into that area and try look for tracks of his son, or Karula's son, Kunyuma, who was also in that area last night. Hopefully we get some luck, and hopefully we don't have to travel too far before we find them. I'm still waiting for the day that I find a leopard just lying in this drainage line. I've found tracks, I've seen them cross it, but I've never found one sleeping in this drainage line. Got a few heli trucks crossing during the night. Rick and Susie from Hawaii, good morning. They would really like to see a Tumbuti tree, and as it happens, we're driving past one. This, there we go, that's the one, the small one there. You go close in on the bark, you can see, looks a bit like scales almost. Got a highly noxious milky latex that occasionally certain animals like kudu, black rhino, and baboons, when they have infestations of parasites in their stomach, they'll actually eat a small bit of Tumbuti to purge their system of those parasites. The only other animal that I know of that eats it is a porcupine, but they eat the roots, and they actually eat it. It doesn't seem to have any effect on them. There you go, Rick and Susie, there's your Tumbuti tree. No tracks yet. Good morning, Sarah from California. Sarah's asking, telling me there's a rescue center near where she is in California that is rescuing 33. Just give me a second here. I've got Mvula's tracks again, male leopard's tracks. Yay! Tracks. Love tracks. Tracks make me excited. So that are rescuing 33 lions from circuses in Peru, and she'd like to know whether they can ever be released back into the wild in Africa. Unfortunately, Sarah, that is a very big no. The problem with those animals is they've lost their natural fear of man, which makes them extremely dangerous. Much more dangerous than a wild lion. I will walk into wild lions with no firearms, nothing, happily. You will not find me even going near circus lions or lions that are habituated to people. Even when I've worked with Kevin Richardson, when we film with Kevin, he's out with the lions. He has a bond with those lions, we don't. We film from inside a cage. So I'm just trying to see which way this leopard went. It doesn't look like he went this way. So unfortunately, no. Those animals are destined to spend the rest of their life in captivity. So guys, I'm just going to be quiet for a second. I'm just going to concentrate. See, wasn't concentrating. He did go that way. Just missed the track. So we're just going to do the exact same thing in reverse again. Konzo of this Madoda Ingwe is now on Twin Dams heading south, still following. Lots of hyena tracks as well, so I'm going to have to check very carefully. Lots of Ellie buffalo tracks. Where are the tracks? Just going to check this intersection very quickly. Just give me a minute, guys. So there's a lot of elephant tracks in the area, so I just want to make sure. Actually, let me just see if those up there are hyena. Which up there, Brian? Hyena that side. Hyena this side. Just gonna have a quick look on foot. Always better to look on foot. It's much easier to see the tracks than when you're driving. That's definitely not the easy way through that block. And it looks like, no more roads for me today. Gonna make these guys work for it. Although this area, it should be a lot more open and easier for us to follow than the last area we went through. Nice long track this morning, eh? From our eastern boundary, and he's probably, well, he's past halfway between our east and western boundary by now. He's actually much closer to our western boundary than our eastern boundary. But the first tracks we did find were from quite late last night, so he's obviously rested up somewhere. And then the only really fresh tracks were the ones we got as we came across the drainage line. I said, oh, we found these tracks again. Keeps on this general direction, you might end up at the hyena den. going to try get a little bit ahead, because this is a little bit of a nasty area that he's in at the moment. Whoa! Watch out for flying branches. Still have them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in that brown leaf tea. Keep a look behind us in case he starts that nonsense again. Oh, there he is. I got him. He's actually heading almost directly towards the hyena den at the moment. He's quite fast. Young male leopards have been known to kill hyena cubs quite frequently. See, I've seen it before. Sort of dart in, grab one of the youngsters that's playing a little bit further, and then just bite and disappear. Lying around leaf tea thicket. Oh, all four tires still intact. Awesome.
Have you got your flies?
I lost my flies.
I've got lots of flies.
Maybe they're like you today. The station's this Madodenga is now stationary, probably about 200 meters from Philemon's cut line to the north. Hi Phil, I've still got visual. Okay, copy. You can see where my trucks go off the Ndal. We probably are 300 meters from there. But when I get your vehicle audio, I'll just call you in. So can you go with the first one from Simon again? Morning, Simon from Australia. Simon would like to know whether I've ever punctured tires driving off-road like I am. Unfortunately, Simon, many times. It's quite a common occurrence. What you learn to do is to choose which trees to try avoid. So you try avoid your zebra woods, your sickle bush, and your baby leadwoods. They're very hard woods, and the spines go straight through the tires very easily. And the next one. Just listen out for the game drive vehicle for me as well. I might not hear anything. Andrew, can you just go again with that one? Airframe coming. Do you see where my Nkonzo crosses Philemon's cut line? Okay, copy. There's an old, it looks like a pipeline that runs west from parallel to Philemon's cut line. We're still further north of that of that old pipeline or old fibre rack. We're between Philemon's cut line and Rebecca's Road at the moment, quite close to the drainage, but still to the southern side of the drainage. Morning, Charlie. Charlie wants to know if a family of leopards, I'm presuming met another family of leopards, would they know each other? If they were related, it is possible. But if it depends on the age, they would generally fight or try to chase each other off, and the weaker one would just run away. Unless they got caught by a more dominant one, then they would try to kill them. But male leopards will tolerate young males of about this age, but not for too much longer. They're getting to the age now where the dominant males will start pushing them out of the area. And obviously this is good for genetics because it pushes them away from their mother and sisters, which will hold territory in this area, and forces them to mate with unrelated females. On the move again. Airframe is mobile again, still heading north towards the drainage. Yeah, quite far forward. Just come up Philemon's Lip. I'm not sure where the best access is actually going to be off Rebecca's if he crosses this drainage line. Yeah, he's going into the drainage line now. Just stand by one, I'll update you. I'm just going to try to find a spot very thick for me to go through where he is. Stopped. Yep.
Yeah, he's still there.
Still above us.
Just 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock? Oh, there, got him. Okay. I think Albert's going to try to find somewhere to cross. Yeah. Well, the dwarf mongoose have spotted him. You can hear them alarm calling. Choo choo. They're like leopard, leopard, leopard. Alright, hold on. Oh my. Good morning, Claire. Wellington, just give me a second and I'll get to your questions. Air from coming. Keep coming onto on Rebecca's towards Zoe's junction. He's mobile in that direction. Oh no. So sorry, back to your question, Ashwin. Oh, sorry. What was the name again? Andrew? Blair. Morning, Blair. Sorry, I had to just try make sure it didn't get stuck. Just stand by one. I didn't get stuck there. Blair's wants to know if I've ever seen a serious leopard fight. Yes, I have. I've seen a few. But they are generally, most of the time, they don't get very serious. It's very seldom that they'll actually really go at each other. Most of the time, it's a lot of calling and hissing and snarling and a couple of sort of taps at each other. But I have seen three very serious fights. Mark coming. Copy, will let you know. He's still mobile now. Best access is going to be from Rebecca's, about halfway between the junction with Philemon's Dip and Zoe's. It's probably now about 200 meters to the west of Rebecca's. Still mobile to mobile north. Sorry, Andrew, go again. He's covered an inordinate amount of ground since yesterday. A-firm, F. Wrong radio. A-firm, FM. What's your position now? Copy, still coming north. Can't see how far I am from the road just yet. At least it's a bit easier than the first session he came through. Go ahead. A-firm, you'll be first standby. wonder if he's... There you go. It's getting a bit warm. Might be worth having a little lie down here. Giving Brent a break. No such luck. So you might have seen something that we can't see. Nah, he's back to walking mode. I'm gonna sneak up to this termite mound. You got him? Yeah, I got him. Okay. Just wait here. He's just in the thicket there, but I think he's going to move this way. Is he laid down or is he still standing? Don't. Sitting. With other leopards, I just wait. But with Kunyuma, he moves so quickly that I don't want to take the chance of him doing a disappearing act on us. Hear from coming. If you switch off, I'll try to give you a rev, and then maybe you can make your way. He's stationary at the moment, but I think he will still keep moving. Okay, our FM would probably, I reckon, from them Nisikaya, halfway between them Nisikaya and Philemon's Dip. What an awesome morning so far. Very Kunyuma. He suddenly just ran right up to the car for no apparent reason. Sorry. Just literally raced up to the car for no reason, from about 25 meters, to give us a snarl. He's a very funny leopard. mobile again. Hey Fim, we're going to come out onto Rebecca's very shortly, I think. We have to show people where we crossed the road. Or we can decide just to walk up the road. Oh, he's seen something. We can't see what it is. Ephraim, can you booger any mala or anything on Rebecca's? Yeah, I think he's just seen those mala. He's on the road now. Or it could be Nongo. I can't see through the bush. I can just see movement. Yeah, I can see some impala now. And yeah, just some impala. They're actually moving down towards us. Yeah, I can see the mala. Ingo is probably 100 meters, maybe a bit less. Thank you very much, Carol. Mala. We followed in some Konzo from Chitakata. We told her at Treehouse Dam, and now we found from Treehouse to here. The first Nkonzo went south, Chitakata line. Second Nkonzo came north at Twin Dams, and then west into the block near that drainage that runs from Twin Dams. I don't know what's wrong with these Matimbas. They're Famba Kashan. Let me just move a little bit so you guys can see. Yeah, so he's gone into full stalk mode, guys. Just gonna try to move up. Oh, what's that? Into a better position. Where those impala. behind that shidulu. He went behind the shidulu. I've lost sight of them. Impala. You got him?
Yeah.
Where is he? Termite Mound.
It's just to the left of the termite mound.
Yeah. Guys, he's just to the left of the shidulu. I can see him. Where do you see him? What?
Yeah, so if you look
Look.
I'm looking at that shadow there, if you can see.
I got him. If there's that round leaf teak bush in front of you, he's underneath that. Alright, copy. I'm gonna stand by here. Is he gone? He's just lying down.
Yeah, lay down.
Just a bush in between, I can't see. Yeah, Mike, it's ours. We knew we lost it, but we didn't want to lose the Ingwe while he was going through. He was moving quite quickly there. Okay. There? This one? Mike's got your pillow. Also, I think it fell on fresh buffalo dung, Andrew. Your pillow fell on fresh buffalo dung. We're just waiting here to see the impala. We can't see them, are somewhere in front of us. But obviously he's moved around, he's using available cover. And quite often, leopards can be very, very patient. He might even sit half a day waiting for them to come close enough for him to grab. Although there is quite a lot of cover around here, so he might try stalk them. But again, it might be this afternoon only. Confirm, is he moving again? Well, looks like he's given up on the impala. might even head, if he goes north, we might even head out to come out of quarantine.
That'll be nice.
Oh, the impala are literally right here. So he's, okay, so I'm just going to show you where the impala are. There's a herd of impala right there. He is probably 30 meters from them. Okay, what we're going to do is try and have a look where everyone else is parking. But we're probably in the best position right now if he charges out. Hey! So he's, according to Ephraim, he's probably from the closest impala less than 30 meters. So all of us, we're just going to stand right here.
There he goes.
You got him? He's moving towards the impala. Oh, he's been spotted.
Yeah.
Not sure. It's not a full alarm call yet. I think the impala is confused. Thinks it. No, there we go. Jigs up. Jigs up. And you got a little bit just too eager there. If you had waited another 5 minutes.
He gets too excited.
He gets too excited. The thing is now he's probably got his tail up and he might just move away. As soon as the snorkeling starts, the game is over. Where did you last see him, bro? Cancel that. I do. No. Always watch your case, he's snuck out behind us. Roy, do you have a visual? Oh, he's lying down flat underneath the magic worry. Normal Kunyuma. Can you directly behind us or can I reverse? Good. Mark coming. What's your position? He's heading towards the sort of western side of quarantine now in the block between Rebecca's and quarantine. So maybe make your way to the right. There's a large elephant park here. Oh, big hole. He's changed direction. He's now heading more west in that block between probably the closest road is Fertilla Access and Rebecca's. Morning, Virginia. Yes, they do, but it's very difficult to tell the difference in their alarm calls. But I'm sure if you spoke squirrel, you would. I met a tracker. Oh, sorry. The question was, do squirrels have different alarm calls for different predators? And I was saying I'm quite sure they do, but it's very, very difficult to tell the difference between them. And I've only met one person who claims to be able to tell the difference between squirrel alarm calls, and I actually believe he can. He can tell whether it's alarming at a slender mongoose or a leopard or staying quite wide of him at the moment. It's just easier for us to move through the bush. Mike coming. Sorry, but I think best access now might be Zoe's. I am. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, hello, wherever you are. I thought I just saw an elephant in there, but I think it's just a termite mound with a spider web in front of it, giving a little bit of an elephant shape, elephant hue. There have been elephants here. We're still on Arathusa. We were way over to the western side of Arathusa because there was a big herd of elephant that had been at Arathusa Dam, and then they moved further west from there. So we went to have a look to see if we could find them. Unfortunately, we did catch the back of the herd, a couple of young bulls that I saw, but we were out of signal range at that point. And I've just had some elephant tracks coming this way now that there might be some ellies around. But I'm making my way back towards Juma, and well, nice to hear that you've been with a leopard. I think Kunyuma, if I'm not mistaken. I guess I'll catch up with Brent when we get back to camp. I also want to go and investigate something up towards the big dam on Buffelshoek. And I think Brent's just trying to find the leopard again. Couldn't go to Arathusa Dam at the time because there are still guests in the lodge that didn't go out on drive, so it becomes
an out of bounds area over the dam wall and in front of the lodge. And by the time I got there, the elephants were too far west. So Alex and I have had a really nice peaceful drive here on Arathusa this morning. Sounds like, oh, there's a reptile in this tree. I hope it's not going to run away or hide on the other side of the trunk. Pity, it's a little bit... You can't see? Okay, take the left fork just in front of where that middle fork goes up. Just see, it's a female blue-headed tree agama, and it's looking into the light. Just see it's, there we go. It's about, I'd say, maybe 8 inches long. Very, very bright, looking into the eastern sky from this angle. It's quite a common tree lizard around here, but we don't get to see them very often. I know there are a couple that we've seen on the odd occasion up on Cheetah Cut Line, because those big marulas up there are great for these lizards. Pretending to be bark, and they are cryptically coloured to look like bark. The males have an incredible blue head. Up in Kenya you get the red-headed tree agama, which has more of a blue body but a beautiful red head. Maybe I'll have to post one of my photos of the red-headed one of these days. Interesting thing about these lizards is that the young males, if they're not dominant males, the young males take on the appearance of the females so as not to be hounded by the males, because you'll only get one dominant male in a sort of a small lizard society that live in a particular area. Very similar to the rock agamas that can live in larger communities. There again, the males, if they're not dominant, if they don't hold territory, they don't get the big red head. Hasn't moved, has it?
Nope. Unless we're looking at bark.
Couple of flowers that I hope I can find again that I saw. I haven't seen any of this particular, two of these flowers, or these two on Juma. They were in a drainage line that we were driving along.
It's
gone. I see they can't really, these lizards are very sharp. Anyways, I think Brent's found what he's been looking for, so we're going to go back to Brent and I'm going to carry on finding things for you, see what else we can find. So I'll see you in a little while, folks. Welcome back, guys. We're still with Kunyuma. He's still heading through the thickets. After that unsuccessful attempt at impala.
Mike, do you have any audio from us here? I would probably just stay around, so I think we've moved quite a long way. Go again. Seriously on the move today, guys. Oh, there's a big termite mound. Mike, just switch off. I'm going to give you a rev. Yeah, copy. Well, if you come in a bit closer, and then I'll just give you another rev. Just let me know when you want to hear it. You, my friend, have done some serious walking since last night. Sorry. He's going to come charge us again. Oh, here's a beautiful leopard. Funny that he walks closer to us so he can snarl at us. Where are you going now? You just come from there.
Now we're going to go back.
Poor Mike's trying to find us in the middle of this block. Just keep an eye on him in case he starts his... Got him. Yeah? Okay, cool. I got him. Mark coming. He's literally just changed direction completely and is now heading east. Okay, copy. Go in.
Nah, that's perfect.
Closer to him. is a bit more open, a bit more pleasant. See how he's using the termite mounts, guys. He goes through the bush to get elevation. So he's using the termite mounts as vantage points as he moves through the bush here. So if there is any potential prey species or danger up ahead, he hopefully will get a spot. You still got him? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Morning, Donna from Maine. Donna says she notices that when the leopards stop, they quite often lick themselves, do their rough tongues remove ticks and other parasites. Yes, they do, Donna, and they also sort of nibble, sort of the defleeing movement to remove parasites like ticks and fleas. Mike, position. Come down Rebecca's court for the one step again, heading back in that direction. Andrew, I'm just busy trying to get another vehicle to the sighting. Andrew, I'm just busy trying to get another vehicle to the sighting. Can you stand by for a while? Mike, do you have my vehicle audio? Okay, Andrew, you can go now, sorry. Good morning, Anne from Seattle. Anne would like to know, do lions use termite mounts like lions and leopards do? Yes, from time to time they do, but they don't use them as frequently, as cheetah and leopards. Yes, they do, but not as frequently as leopard and cheetah. Sorry, who must reboot? The mic coming? What's your position? Copy, I think it's going to come out on that little track. I'm not sure of its name, that runs on the western side of Quarantine. No, I should be to the north of you, unless you are coming from the access side. Okay, copy. He's still mobile. Sorry, go again. Literally just to the west, where there's guarri thickets and sage. There's a seed line here. Looks like, and we're on the seed line, moving towards that little track that runs to the west of Quarantine Clearing. Sorry, I'm just trying to see Mike. He really has given us a good workout this morning. He has moved an incredible distance, even just while we've been with him. He's actually almost walked us back home for breakfast. Morning, morning. So it's been a very successful morning, a nice long track, and then we found him, and then he has taken us on a really wild goose chase. He's changed directions multiple times while we've been following him. It's actually now just to the west of the quarantine clearings. He's done a big semicircle almost from where he left this morning. The temperature is getting quite warm now. It's probably around, what do you think, by 30, 31?
Early 30s.
Early 30s already, and it's not even 9 a.m. in the morning. Yep. It'll be interesting to see if he moves on a little bit. I think he's even too hot to snarl at us now. A bit of hair stuck in his tongue. But on the move again. Just a quick break. You can see as it's getting warmer, he's thinking about resting a bit more. Oh, he's coming. Oh, I think he's going to lie down there. Sorry. I'm just going to try and move the vehicle, but it is a... Oh, there's that. Bit of grooming, nice bit of shade. I'm not sure he's going to spend the whole day lying up in the spot. It's not. There's a very strong possibility he might move during the day. You might actually head. The closest water to here is Gowrie Dam or Williamson Dam, where he's brother was seen last night. He is a very, very, very good-looking boy. This is a strange boy, Kunyuma. I mean, how was that earlier today when he was lying 20 meters away from us, and he suddenly just jumped up and ran up to the vehicle, stopped a meter from the vehicle and just went snarling and growling at us for no reason. Good morning, Doug from Connecticut. Welcome on Drive with us this morning. Oh, doesn't like you sneezing, right?
Oh, bless me. Sorry.
Doesn't like sneezing. Between male and female offspring and how long they will stay within the natal territory of their parents. Let's just see where he's going. Yes, there is, Doug. Generally the males will stay a bit longer and be reliant on their mother for longer, whereas the females seem to become independent quite a bit younger. The other thing is also the females will generally give away a piece of their territory to a daughter, and then move to a different section of the territory or fight off other females for another part of the territory, whereas males are generally forced to move out of the territory. Obviously this is to stop them interbreeding with their siblings and their parents. So I just have to concentrate on staying with them for a little bit longer. Oh boy. Is he going down into the drainage?
Yeah, he's directly
Heading all that way. A nice shady termite mound here. This looks like a far better spot to spend the day than under, although not. That feels a bit big. Probably like my nose. Taking me on this termite mound with the timber wedges on it at the moment. for those of you who are a bit new, it seems some of you out there seem to think we're harassing this leopard by staying so long with it. Not at all. You can see he's very relaxed. He's just got a very strange personality. He hisses at cars for some reason, but then he'll go back to grooming and and he goes back to grooming and completely relaxed, and then every now and then he just hisses. He does very strange things. He's just got a very interesting personality for a leopard, and that's where the hissing comes in. And I mean, today we were 30 meters from him, and he was sitting on a termite mound, completely relaxed, and then he literally bounded up to the car like a playful kitten and hissed at us from about a meter, and no reason, just because. And yesterday we saw him after kudu saw him hunting. Or he was trying to hunt some kudu, and they spotted him. He stood while the kudu were alarm calling him and hissed at the kudu from about 50 meters. I mean, he's just a really strange leopard. And I mean, if I did think he was feeling harassed and we were putting too much pressure on him, I would definitely move away. But the thing is, he hisses in between that, then he just sits there and he grooms and whatnot. And the thing is, if a leopard really wants to get away from you, there's no chance I could keep up with him in this bush. He would disappear in a matter of seconds.
No, if he wanted to run, he would be gone.
Sorry?
If he wanted to run, he would be
Yeah,
gone.
if he really wanted to get away from us, it would take him literally less than 30 seconds to get away from us. But it was amazing. This morning when we found him and we were trying to establish the sighting, he was literally running around like a kitten, bouncing over logs, behind us, in front of us.
He kept looking at us as well. He'd
Yeah,
look at us,
he
and
kept
then run
watching
around.
us, and then like run around, go behind the car, come in front of the car, like it was a big game. I mean, a good clean. As I was saying that over the day, this is an ideal spot for the leopard to spend the day. Nice shade. We've got some timbuti trees here and a weeping boerbean. It's a little drainage line. He's quite close to the quarantine clearings where there's possibly a lot of food. Oh, sorry. Where there's possibly a lot of food. And there's water not too far away, so it's a very good spot for a leopard to spend the day. Andrew coming? Should we cross over to Mark so we can say goodbye and then we'll come back here? Hey guys, we're just going to cross across to Mark for a few minutes. We're going to stay here with the leopard. And we'll be back in a few minutes. When you're ready, Andrew. Well, in contrast to your morning, Alex and I have had a little bit of a different morning. We haven't been able to find much. There's been a bit of a weather change that's happened. The wind has turned 180 degrees. It's now sort of coming in from the north, and whatever cloud there was, most of it is burned off by now, but there is some bank in the south, and there was an old Shangaan saying that I learnt many years ago, that when the wind comes from the north like this, it goes to fetch the rain in the south. So I hope something like that's going to happen. A lot of buffalo. It's getting very hot, and a lot of buffalo at the dam here already. We're at Gowrie Dam.
I did a little bit of a drive around again, trying to see if I could pick up any sign of quarantine mail, but unfortunately not able to do so. I've done a lot of driving this morning and seems to be pretty much uniform everywhere. There's not much about, and one of the reasons why we've stayed with the leopard for so long is because there hasn't really been much else about, other than the odd buffalo making their way to water. But it's been a really beautiful morning other than that. A couple of things I did find. I found a vulture carcass when I was looking for elephant on Arathusa. Alex, there's a bird next to that buffalo, that third buffalo, a little black and white thing next to the water. There's a very interesting bird that I'm sure our birders are going to like to see. I don't know, we'll try and get closer to it, or maybe it'll come this way. Guesses as to what that is. Where was I? Well, I heard a lot of francolin shouting. I went to investigate, and the francolin were all on top of a guarri bush. I walked around a little bit and came across a carcass, or the remains of a young vulture, and I believe there was a vulture around that area, a place called Second Windmill, a place where we don't get great signal. There was a vulture on the ground. The guys were saying that maybe it was sick or something. My guess is that there might be a caracal or a serval or an African wildcat. Maybe it was a leopard. I don't think it was a leopard, because there were no leopard tracks on any of the roads anywhere near there. They did find leopard tracks on a couple of other roads, and when we were leaving Arathusa, they found, I think it was Tundi. I'll find out later. But also out of our signal range. Other than that, I did mention a couple of flowers that I saw there that I'm going to try and look for here this afternoon. And well, it's coming time for me to say goodbye from Alex and myself. And Wendy. I'll be out again this afternoon. Anyways, that lovely little black and white bird. I don't know if anyone's come through, but we're going to be going back to Brent to say goodbye to the leopard. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at buffalo and I should be looking at you. Well, Alex and myself, Mark, thanks for joining us on Wendy this morning. That is a pied wagtail, by the way. We don't get to see them too often, but mostly only around rivers and water. But a nice bird to have. Use my sunglasses, sorry, what they were on. And we'll go back to Brent and I'll see you this afternoon. Bye everybody.
He really doesn't like loose teasing. We're still sitting here with Kunyuma. As you can see, he's enjoying the shade. He's travelled an incredible distance today. I mean, since last night, since the last place he was seen, we found his tracks this morning on our eastern boundary, and he's now much closer to our western boundary. He's probably, in terms of, I'm trying to figure it out now, he's probably done 6, 7, maybe even 8 kilometers, especially with his zigzagging through the bush. But you can see he's quite tired now, and he's chosen himself a wonderful spot to spend the day. As a leopard, you can't really ask for a better spot than this to spend the day. Got a nice termite mound for a bit of elevation, lots of shade, little drainage line. And from that elevation you can see across the other side of the drainage line if any potential prey species or threats come. If he does get faced with any threats, he's got a nice big scotia tree very close by to climb if he is in any trouble. Although he could even climb the small timbuites if he was in serious stress. Also, lots of cover around if he does see any animals moving towards him. good area to hunt for a leopard. So here, and it's always nice from our point of view is the fact that what time did we find those tracks?
Really?
Yeah, 6:30,
Yeah.
6:45. No, we hadn't even been out for half an hour. It was straight in my head. And we found those tracks, and we followed them, and we lost them. Then we found them again, and then we followed them again, lost them, found them again, and then I think he just finished a drink at Treehouse Jam when we spotted him moving up the drainage line. And see, for those of you worried about if the leopard was being harassed, there's zero chance a leopard would turn its back on us if it was feeling stressed or harassed like it is now, and not keep an eye on us. He's just a funny leopard. See, I mean, he's very vulnerable if we were trying to harass him or put any pressure on him now. He can't see us. His head's down, so I think it's just his character. So guys, thanks for joining us this morning. It's been a wonderul morning, and I need to sorry. There we go. There. Turn. Wait. This way. Okay, perfect. It's been a wonderful morning. I've really enjoyed it. Love tracking and finding leopards, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And hopefully we'll see you this afternoon. We're probably going to come have a look here this afternoon again, but I doubt he's going to be in the same place. Other than that, there are those 2 male lion tracks that haven't left the property, and they didn't come out of that block, so maybe we'll go look for some lions. But I'll chat to Mark and we'll make a plan for the afternoon. So from all of us here at WildEarth, have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world, and we will see you in a few hours. Cheers.